Coming up on this episode of Tacoma Report, Pride Month is underway in Tacoma. Celebrations are taking place all over the city, including the installation of Tacoma's first Pride-themed crosswalk. South 21st Street has reopened to traffic. The summer heat is here, and luckily, Tacoma Parks outdoor public pools and spray grounds are open and ready to cool you down. Tacoma Venues and Events invites artists to apply for an exciting new public art opportunity at the Tacoma Dome. Innovative Changemakers President and founder Brian Gatewood Sr. joined us in studio to discuss his organization's commitment to the community and the journey that led him to become passionate about empowering youth. Those stories and more coming up next on Tacoma Report. Welcome to Tacoma Report. I'm Laura Proctor. The city of Tacoma celebrates Pride during the month of July. This year's festivities kicked off with the unveiling of Tacoma's historic first Pride-themed crosswalk.
This is a lot of firsts, right? This is our first decorative crosswalk that's going to create this sense of place here. So proud that it is a Pride crosswalk.
They say actions speak louder than words. Tacoma, here is our action. Here is what we will telegraph to the rest of the world. We no longer have to just say it. We can just point to it and say absolutely nothing.
This is more than just a crosswalk. This is a gathering place. This is a community representation. It's a bridge. A lot of people talk about this being a step in the right direction. We get to take literal steps across the crosswalk. I just love the image.
Happy Pride!
Literally, you'll see this from the sky and be able to see the pride that we have in our diversity here in Tacoma.
The Tacoma Public Library is shaping its next 5-year strategic plan, and they want your input. Every 5 years, the library updates its goals based on feedback from the community. And now it's time to plan for 2025 through 2030. If you live in Tacoma, you are invited to take a quick online survey, available in English and Spanish, by Friday, August 8th. Your voice helps shape programs, collections, and services that matter to you. Visit tacomalibrary.org to get started. South 21st Street between Jefferson and Pacific Avenues has reopened to traffic following key upgrades as part of the Prairie Line Trail project. Phase 2, launched in 2024, enhances the city's active transportation network by connecting the waterfront to downtown through trails. Improvements include trail construction, sewer upgrades, and full pavement restoration. As part of this phase, the work on Hood Street between South 21st and South 25th Streets is expected to wrap up later this year, linking the UW-Tacoma campus to the Water Flume Line Trail. Visit the city's site for more information. Tacoma Venues and Events invites artists to apply for a prestigious public art opportunity at the Tacoma Dome. In collaboration with the City of Tacoma's Arts and Cultural Vitality Division and the Puyallup Tribe's Heritage Division, artists are sought to create artwork celebrating the cultural heritage and Lushootseed Seed language of the Puyallup Tribe. With a budget of $75,000, the project aims to transform the Tacoma Dome's lower northwest plaza, welcoming visitors with impactful murals, carved cedar, or durable metalwork. Applications are due by July 24th, 2025. For details, visit the Tacoma Arts Submissions Forum page. 80 local organizations will receive a combined $6.4 million in funding through Tacoma Creates for the 2025-2026 cycle. Now in its 6th year, Tacoma Creates supports arts, culture, heritage, and science programs citywide, offering everything from youth workshops to public events. Since 2020, the initiative has helped bring over 5,000 programs to more than 4 million participants. Programming for this new cycle runs from July 2025 through June 2026. Learn more at tacomacreates.org. Parks Tacoma invites you to cool off from the summer heat by visiting one of the 2 outdoor pool locations, the Candle Pool and Stewart Heights Pool. They're open until Labor Day with adult lap swims in the morning that cost $5. For all other hours, children ages 4 and under are free, youth ages 5 to 17 are $8, and adults are $10. Visit parkstacoma.gov for more information. Grab a picnic basket, chairs, and blankets and bring your family to join the free Shakespeare in the Park events. Parks Tacoma is excited to announce performances of A Midsummer Night's Dream will be held on August 9th, 10th, 16th, and 17th in parks around Tacoma. Shakespeare in the Park is a much-loved Tacoma tradition occurring in parks each summer season. This year, the production will feature South Sound performers. To see all dates and locations, visit parkstacoma.gov/events/Shakespeare. On July 26th and 27th, from noon until 7 p.m., Wright Park transforms into a celebration of international delights for the Mosaic Arts and Cultural Festival. The free community event highlighting traditional dance, music, art, and food marks its 36th year under the park's beautiful canopy of trees. Mosaic includes performances from community groups held both days on 2 different stages. Food trucks offering a wide variety of cuisines, and vendor village with nearly 100 different booths. Vendors include multicultural artists and crafters, local small business owners, and Tacoma community groups, agencies, and services. Parks Tacoma's Tiptoe Through the Tide Pools free events are back this summer. Take advantage of low tides and bring your family to explore the beach, learn about tide pool life, and have lots of fun during some of the lowest tides of the year. To participate, meet at Titlow Beach on July 23rd from 9:30 a.m. until 12:30, or August 9th at 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Wear shoes to protect your feet and bring plenty of water and sunscreen. Registration is not required. For more information, go to parkstacoma.gov/events/tidepools3. After the break, we'll have a discussion with Brian Gatewood Sr., founder and president of Innovative Changemakers, about his personal journey and his organization's commitment to the youth of our community. See you on the other side. Welcome back to the show. Brian Gatewood Sr. has dedicated his life to uplifting and supporting the youth of our community. He joins us in the studio to discuss his journey from growing up navigating the juvenile detention system to becoming the founder of Innovative Changemakers. Brian, thanks for being on the show.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's dive right in.
For sure.
All right. So Brian, can you share with our viewers what inspired you to start Innovative Changemakers?
For sure. So initially, my beginning came from my own personal journey. And so as you said in your intro, I had to navigate the juvenile system. And, I think that was due to lack of having a mentor myself or a father figure in the household. And so I went out to try to find those things that I was lacking, and I found those in places that, necessarily wouldn't have gotten me to the places that I want to go to. And so I had to navigate the juvenile system, and then, there's not a whole lot of rehabilitation in those systems. And so I was released back into the same environments that put me in there to begin with. And so, I could fast forward into 2019, COVID, around COVID. I started thinking, about how I could utilize my journey and the things that I've experienced to give back. I used to always say that, like, I want to utilize the things that I've experienced to give back, but I just didn't necessarily know what that looked like. And so I began just like a kind of journey to, for purpose. And so I found that with the Seattle Urban League. And so worked at the Seattle Urban League doing reentry work, because that's something that I lived through. And so although I loved it, it just wasn't really my passion. My passion was the youth and prevention work, because I know what it would have helped for me as a kid to have, somebody like myself or somebody like, you or somebody like all these people in community, to have some folks like that to have shown me or guided me through a lot of these difficult times or show me what I could be, let me know what my potential was. And so that was really the beginning of ICM. It was like, you know, I saw a void and I saw how I could utilize my strengths to fill that void.
Absolutely. And so you used your lived experiences to create this wonderful organization to help mentor other young folks, which is definitely needed. As we talked about last week, we definitely need some mentoring and some guidance from young men like yourself. So we appreciate it very much.
It's just, not to cut you off, but not just youth either. You know, there's a lot of adults that we work with. Because that's a big thing, is a lot of adults who have experienced, you know, negative stuff in their life. They don't feel like they have anything to offer. And so somebody like me, who they've seen go through these things and, like, you know, seen at my worst, but now they see, you know, that I've changed my life and that, you know, we're making such a huge impact. It motivates them and it, you know, inspires them to understand that they have a whole lot of value, you know, and a lot that they can give back as well. And they can utilize their story to help these kids navigate also.
100%. So youth, adults, men, women, the whole game. Okay, all right. So can you also share with the viewers what Innovative Changemakers' vision is?
Yeah, so our mission is to provide innovative alternatives to hazardous lifestyles. And so those hazardous lifestyles could be gang involvement, it could be, you know, drug use or drug selling, you know, anything that isn't getting our kids and, like I said, adults to whatever they see their self at. You know, anytime we have like meetings or anything like that with kids and adults in community, we ask, like, you know, where do you see yourself? Like, you know, what is, because everybody has a dream, you know, so like, what is that dream? Like, where do you see yourself when you think about like the perfect world? And so people will say what that is, and it's like, so what's stopping you? You know, so these different things, and so we have an alternative to whatever that might look like. And so again, drug selling, like there's a lot of kids who right now might have to help parents out, you know, at home. And so they feel like that's the only thing that they can do to, you know, have some revenue to help out. But it's like, we have, you know, our peer mentorship program where we train our kids, we train them in trauma-informed care, communication, de-escalation trainings. Like, we give them these trainings and then we have them co-facilitate. And so they get paid for this. And so they get paid very well also, you know, and so, you know, that's an alternative to violence. That's an alternative to them selling drugs, you know. And then, like we were just talking about, like our jerseys, you know. So a lot of kids especially, but people just in general, but kids especially, you know, want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And so I remember as a kid, that's why I was so, you know, wowed by the thought of being a part of the gang, because it was something bigger than me. You know, it's a whole lot of, and it's like a family, you know. And like, I was lacking a lot of those things. And so I found them there. But it's like, now we got our jerseys, we got purpose. Like, we are that family. Like, you don't have to go down that road, because we're here on some positivity. And so we provide those alternatives to violence and alternatives to hazardous lifestyles.
100%. And so, Brian, what are some of the most impactful programs or events that you've led so far?
Of course. So I think that all of our events and all of our programming is extremely impactful. But I can give you a couple that like are dear to my heart. I'll start with our Innovative Cuts program. And so Innovative Cuts program, it's a program that teaches the basic fundamentals of barbering. It teaches communication. It teaches entrepreneurship. And then it has a mental health aspect to where, you know, in our communities, a lot of times our barbershops are like our hubs for, you know, you can go in there for therapy, you can go in there for counseling, you know, to talk about sports, to, you know, and that's the salons also. You know, it's the same thing. You sit down with these people for a long time and you can decompress. And so what we've tried to do is take that experience and put it into a program and offer it to the youth. And so it teaches them to be first responders in their schools and their communities, you know, because they learn how to identify their peers who are going through crisis. And then once you identify that, what you can do with that information, which you can, you know, let them know that there's trusted adults out here that can assist them. You know, there's resources that we have for them. You know, there's all kind of stuff that they learn. It's been like a super beneficial program, you know, and it's just getting started, but we've been offering that program for the last year. But like, we're just really getting amped up and getting going. So now we'll be in Tacoma Public Schools and Franklin Pierce School District. And so that's one, our peer mentorship program. We have 20 youth currently. Like I said, we teach them all those different skill sets, and then we put them in position to work. You know, we give them job readiness training. You know, we do mock interviews, resumes, cover letters, etc. And then we put them in positions. Like, they'll go, right now they're in 5 days a week in all the different late night sites.
Okay.
And so they're working, you know, and so they're making some good money and, you know, doing something positive.
Right. Okay.
And so those two are the ones that stand out to me as being, you know, our top. Oh, no, let me not skim over. So our in-school mentorship program is called Young Kings.
Okay.
And so we're at 5 different schools in Tacoma Public Schools, and then we'll be in 4 different schools in Franklin Pierce School District.
Nice.
And so we're teaching all kind of different life skills and just providing a lot of different information to these kids, and then just being, you know, trusted adults that are there consistently. You know, we're there every single week without hesitation, without question. They know they can come to us. We don't work for the school district. We're not teachers. And so they can trust us in letting us know when they have issues that even might be with the teachers or be with the admin.
Right.
And so we're there on campus and just providing that extra support.
Right. And then all of you doing the things that you're doing, and then that word of mouth, you know, you might reach one youth, and that youth will, or adult, will reach out to another youth or adult and say, hey, this is what I've learned from this program. And it's about community. It's about that village. So it's very impactful, clearly.
Yeah. And that's how we've grown.
Yes.
Like we've grown, like when we first started, we had no funding. And like, you know, we had just a handful of kids and a couple of different adults. And then it's grown and grown to where we service hundreds of kids, you know, and then the same amount of adults. You know, we have our men's group, it's called Iron Sharpens Iron. Then we have our women's group called Women's Empowering Women. And like they're full, you know, and they're fun. And like we have opportunities to go out in the community and do stuff together. Yes. And then it's been a blessing to be a blessing.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And so you touched on the peer mentorship program. And what else are you doing or do you do to involve youth in shaping this work?
So almost all of our programming, especially our youth serving programs, we sit down with youth and ask them. That's one of the missing links to a lot of youth serving programs is involving the youth in the planning of the program. Right. It's like a lot of folks offer programming for youth, but they don't involve youth in putting it together. And so like I said, we have our 20 peer mentors, and we'll sit down with them and just like, you know, what is it that you guys feel like you are not learning? Right. You know, what tools do you guys feel like would help you be, you know, more successful? And so they, you know, once you give them a platform to speak and let them know that their voice is powerful, they have no hesitation will let you know what they need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so everything that we plan is for them, and that's why they're so well attended by youth, because it's, you know, for youth by youth.
Right.
You know, we play our part, but, you know, we allow them to lead.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's vital, you know,
For sure.
including the youth, their voices, their opinions, their feedback in order to design those programs, create that help for them by allowing them to say, well, this is what we need, and then following through and providing for them what they need to be successful. So that is very important because I think as adults, we're real quick to make suggestions, but we're not listening. We got to listen and, you know, provide help to our young people and adults again, you know, but definitely including them and allowing them to use their voices to tell us what they need. So that is very, very important.
Yeah, one of the biggest reasons that we do that is I remember when we first started, we were working with some kids and they were saying how there's a ton of adults that tell them what not to do, but there's not any adults that tell them what they could do. And so that's where we differ, you know, because we come into the school and it's not like, don't do this, don't do that. Right. They know what's right from wrong. And so it's like, okay, you could be doing this instead of that.
Right.
And so providing that alternative. And so that was one of the big things is like kids just telling you like, you know, we, you know, don't need to know what not to do. We didn't know what we could, you know, what we can do.
Right, right.
And so, yeah, they'll tell you, you know, exactly what they need. There's with no hesitation.
Exactly. And so our final question, Brian, what is your vision? What is your future vision for Innovative Change Makers?
Yeah. So, you know, I would love for us to continue the work that we're doing at the capacity that we're doing it at.
Absolutely.
But like what I envision us having is just a central location, you know, that community knows exactly where we're at. Community knows exactly how they can sign up for programming, exactly how they can volunteer, you know, where our program, you know, just have that location. And so, how I envision it in my mind, I see it as like a community space, like community center, have a basketball court, you know, classrooms. And so just, you know, have that empowerment center is what I want it to be, you know, because I want it to offer programs not just to youth but just to community within itself, and just empower community, you know, let them know again, what they could be doing instead of what, telling them what they should stop doing or,
Right.
And so we want to offer all of our programs out of this central location and then invite community in to, host their programs there also, and just have, like I said, that just general empowerment center somewhere in Pierce County.
Right. Well, I'm going to put that into the universe. So
Yeah.
the next time we talk, we're not going to say if.
When.
When.
Yeah.
How's the community center going? Because it will happen.
For sure.
What you're doing is amazing, and we really appreciate. I'm speaking on behalf of myself, the community.
Thank you.
Genuinely appreciate everything that you're doing for all folks who need this guidance.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
you being on the show. Looking forward to an update on the
Yeah.
location of the
I'll
community
invite
center.
you out.
Well, thank you again, Brian, and
Of
I'm
course.
looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate
All right. That wraps up another episode of Tacoma Report. For more information on all that's happening around the city, visit tacoma.gov. I'm Laura Proctor. Stay tuned and stay connected.